Have you ever visited Denmark and felt like people keep to themselves, not because they're unfriendly, but because they value something deep: privacy? What if I told you that this way of life has shaped everything, from how public systems work, to how people talk, to how laws protect you, and that it might just be one of the most comforting aspects of living here? Have you ever tried starting a conversation in Denmark, only to feel like people are keeping their distance, almost as if they're avoiding you? It can feel confusing, even lonely at first. Many newcomers mistake it for coldness. But here's the truth: it's not about rudeness at all. It's about a deep cultural value, privacy, and once you understand it, you'll see why it's one of the things that actually makes life in Denmark feel safe, respectful, and even comforting. Sustainability and green energy. Viking heritage. Welfare system. New Nordic food. Welcome to Denmark Explained, your front row seat to the hidden gems, quirky traditions, and powerful stories that make Danish culture truly unforgettable. When you first think about privacy, you might imagine closed doors, drawn curtains, or personal space that nobody enters. But in Denmark, privacy goes far beyond the physical. It's part of the very fabric of society. From history to culture, and even to the legal system, respect for privacy shapes how people interact with each other, with institutions, and with the digital world. One key reason privacy is so valued is trust. Danes are among the most trusting people in the world. About 3/4 of citizens say they trust other people in the court system, and nearly 7 out of 10 trust the police. Trust in the government itself is slightly lower, but still above the international average. This high level of trust means that people feel safe handing over personal information, knowing that institutions will handle it responsibly. Later in the video, we'll see how this trust affects digital services in daily life. But for now, imagine how comforting it is to live in a place where you can genuinely expect fairness and discretion from the system. Culture also plays a huge role. Danes value equality, modesty, and respect for the individual. It's considered polite not to pry into someone's personal life, especially when you first meet them. This isn't coldness, it's a cultural rhythm that shapes interactions. For instance, when meeting someone new, people often start with a simple greeting or handshake and avoid asking overly personal questions. Even in public spaces, there's an unspoken understanding: don't make unnecessary noise, don't invade someone's space, and be mindful of others around you. This might feel unusual if you come from a place where conversations with strangers are normal, but once you get used to it, you start to appreciate the calm and order it creates. Privacy is also built into the rules and laws that govern society. Strong data protection policies ensure that your information is treated with care. Personal data is only collected and used when necessary, and there are clear protocols to protect it. Later, we'll explore how this extends to the online world, from health data to emails, and why it matters for anyone moving or traveling here. What makes Denmark unique is how these layers, trust, culture, and legal protection, come together. It's not just about keeping secrets, it's about creating a society where people feel safe, respected, and free to live without constant intrusion. And while it might take some time to adjust, understanding this core value gives you a completely different perspective on life here, and a glimpse into why so many people appreciate the balance and security it brings. Earlier I mentioned trust in digital life, how Danes' expectations in privacy extend beyond physical interactions. In this chapter, we'll loop back to the digital side, your online data, surveillance, public versus private space, and how Danes balance convenience with protection. When we think about privacy in Denmark, it doesn't stop at face-to-face interactions. In fact, one of the most fascinating aspects is how privacy extends into the digital world. From online banking to health records, from public services to personal emails, Denmark has built a system where people's digital lives are treated with the same respect as their private homes. Consider this: about 98% of the population is online, making Denmark one of the most digitally connected countries in the world. With such high connectivity, you might expect frequent data breaches or widespread misuse of personal information. But the reality is quite different. In 2023, even though over 9,500 potential data breach reports were submitted, there are strict rules and oversight to ensure that your information is handled carefully. Later in the video, we'll explore how these rules actually make life easier for everyday citizens. Digital public services are another example of how privacy and trust work hand in hand. A vast majority of people report being satisfied with the official digital mail system, which ensures secure communication between citizens and government institutions. Imagine being able to receive important notifications, tax information, or health updates securely, knowing that unauthorized eyes cannot access them. This is part of a broader approach where efficiency and privacy coexist, even if it might feel a little slower than in other countries that prioritize speed over safety. Companies in Denmark also take digital privacy seriously. Many large organizations have formal policies for data ethics, making sure that personal data is collected only when necessary and used responsibly. There is also an ongoing push for international information security standards, which keeps digital systems protected from threats like cyber attacks or accidental leaks. And while you might think that strict rules slow things down, the truth is they often prevent problems before they even happen, a concept that is easy to underestimate at first. GDPR and other privacy laws are enforced rigorously. Complaints and investigations are taken seriously, and fines for breaches are applied when necessary. This strong enforcement not only protects individuals but also builds trust in the digital ecosystem. Later, we'll see how newcomers quickly learn that their personal data is safe here, which can feel like a relief after living somewhere with looser protections. The digital side of privacy also shapes everyday behavior. People are careful with what they post online, how they share information, and even how they interact on social media. It's not about being secretive, it's about respecting boundaries, for yourself and for others. And as you get used to it, you start to notice that these systems actually make life smoother, safer, and more predictable. By understanding this layer of digital privacy, you'll see that Denmark's commitment to personal boundaries goes far beyond physical space. It's a principle embedded in society, law, and technology, creating an environment where people feel secure, both offline and online. And in the next chapter, we'll dive into how this respect for privacy shows up in everyday interactions at home, at work, and in social life. Here's something to think about. Many people arriving in Denmark might wonder, what matters more, efficiency or privacy? Because Danes often trade off some speed or openness for stronger privacy protection and discretion. So let me ask you, do you think you would prefer to live in a place where? Option A. Things happen very fast, everything digital, data shared easily, instant service. Even if privacy is sometimes compromised. Option B. Things take a bit longer, more permissions, more checks, more privacy safeguards, but your personal data and space are well protected. Which one would feel more comfortable to you? Planning a trip to Denmark? Or maybe you're moving there soon? Don't just Google your way through it. Let DenmarkExplained.com be your shortcut to a smoother, smarter, and way more fun experience. At DenmarkExplained.com/products, you'll find itineraries, ready-made plans that turn confusion into unforgettable days. eBooks, packed with local insights, cultural tips, and everyday know-how. No boring history lessons, just stuff that actually helps. Expat guides, moving to Denmark? Get the info you wish someone told you before you landed. Everything's digital, everything's simple, and everything's designed to make Denmark feel less confusing, and way more cozy. So skip the stress, and get the guides that explain Denmark, clearly, cleverly, and in plain English. Check it out now at DenmarkExplained.com/products. Your trip, our tips, let's make it amazing. If you're enjoying this, hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. What surprised you most so far about Danish privacy? Share with others who are curious about moving to Denmark. Earlier we touched on health data and digital protections. Now I want to take you inside everyday life in Denmark to show real examples of how privacy impacts how people live, work, and relate. And later I'll share how newcomers adapt. When it comes to everyday life, the value of privacy in Denmark is clear in the little things. How people interact at work, at home, and in social settings. At first, it might feel unusual, especially if you come from a culture where casual conversation and personal questions are normal with strangers. But what seems like reserve is actually a deep respect for boundaries. Later in the video, we'll explore how newcomers quickly learn to adapt to this rhythm. In workplaces, privacy means people are friendly but not intrusive. Conversations tend to focus on tasks, projects, or shared interests, and personal matters are only discussed once trust has been established. Imagine starting a new job. Instead of being asked immediately about your personal life, colleagues might start with a warm greeting or a handshake and let the relationship grow naturally. This approach often creates a calmer, more focused environment, which might surprise some newcomers at first, but it also reduces misunderstandings and workplace drama. Home life also reflects the same values. Apartments and homes are treated as private sanctuaries. Noise levels are kept low, neighbors respect each other's space, and shared areas, like laundry rooms or hallways, are managed with consideration. This quiet respect can feel unusual at first, but over time, it becomes a comforting backdrop, allowing people to enjoy peace and personal space. And later, we'll see how this same principle extends into digital spaces, keeping your online data just as protected. Social interactions follow a similar pattern. Friendships develop gradually, and invitations usually happen in small, comfortable settings. Social media is often modest, with many people carefully considering what they share publicly. It's not about hiding or being secretive, it's about respecting personal and other people's boundaries. People here understand that oversharing can sometimes create tension or discomfort, so they value discretion. Privacy in everyday life also contributes to overall well-being. By maintaining clear boundaries, individuals feel safe and in control of their own lives. It reduces social pressure, allows for personal reflection, and helps people focus on quality relationships rather than quantity. And for newcomers, while it may feel distant at first, most find that this balance actually makes social life easier once they understand the unspoken rules. This respect for privacy, seen in work, home, and social life, is a cornerstone of Danish culture. It's what allows trust to flourish and interactions to feel secure. Later in the video, we'll share a story about a family that moved from a very talkative culture and how they gradually embraced these norms. By noticing these patterns, you can better understand how Denmark functions, and why so many people appreciate the calm, respectful environment that privacy creates. We've seen how privacy is rooted, how it plays in digital systems, and how it shapes daily life. Now let's compare Denmark with some other countries, and think about the pros and cons, and what newcomers should know to adapt and thrive. By now, you've seen how privacy in Denmark shapes culture, daily life, and digital interactions. But what does it really mean for someone moving or traveling here? Like any cultural norm, there are trade-offs, comparisons, and tips that can make the adjustment smoother, and later in the video, we'll share a surprising insight about how these boundaries actually make life easier once you understand them. Let's start with personal space. Danes highly value it, preferring over a meter of distance when conversing. At first, this can feel distant or even cold, especially if you're used to close contact in social settings. But once you get used to it, you'll notice it creates calm, respectful interactions. Small talk with strangers is minimal. Only around 4 in 10 Danes engage in casual conversation frequently. It's not that people are unfriendly, it's about respecting boundaries. Later, we'll see how this preference even affects workplace dynamics and professional relationships. Home and shared living spaces follow the same principle. 3/4 of Danes consider their homes strictly private, and noise levels in shared buildings are carefully managed. At first, newcomers might find it restrictive, but soon you'll realize it provides peace, order, and predictability, a trade-off many find worthwhile. Digital life reflects these habits, too. Most Danes are cautious with social media, with only a minority frequently sharing personal information online. And yet, around 2/3 trust the government to handle digital data responsibly. It's a culture of careful openness. You share when necessary, but you don't overshare. This approach protects both individuals and society, creating a sense of security that is hard to overstate. Workplaces follow the same principle. Coworkers rarely ask about personal matters, keeping the focus on tasks and collaboration. For newcomers, this can feel formal or distant, but it reduces misunderstandings and creates a professional, low-drama environment. Later, we'll compare this with other countries where personal questions are common, and you'll see why many find the Danish approach surprisingly efficient. So how can you adapt? The first tip is patience. Relationships and trust take time to build. Observe boundaries, respect privacy, and don't rush to share personal details. Second, embrace the digital safeguards. Secure communication channels and privacy-respecting tools are not only common, they're expected. And third, recognize the benefits: lower stress, higher life satisfaction, and a sense of personal security that makes daily life smoother. Understanding the trade-offs of Danish privacy gives you a clearer perspective on social norms, workplace etiquette, and digital habits. And while it might seem restrictive at first, respecting these boundaries opens the door to deeper trust, calmer interactions, and a more balanced life. Later in the video, we'll explore practical examples of expats who successfully adapted, showing that privacy here is not a barrier, it's a feature that enriches life. Thanks for watching. I hope this gave you a real look at why Danish people value privacy, not out of coldness, but out of respect, trust, and culture. If you want to explore more about how it feels to live in Denmark as an expat, check out the playlist on your right about living in Denmark, culture, rights, and daily life. See you in the next video.